Joined on the show this morning by the Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern. Good morning.
Good morning.
Just when I just have a question, personal question. When you get up in the morning and you're like, what does today hold for me today? And then you kind of remember COVID and that you've got to...
I know you should say that Clark said to me this morning, and I don't know where this came from. He said, I just wish I could bottle your enthusiasm for mornings. Dripping with sarcasm.
I was going to say, where do you find that? Can we have some?
No. I'm not a morning person generally, so yeah.
And what time do you have to get up in the morning?
Oh, it really varies. It's a little unusual at the moment because I wasn't meant to be down in Wellington. None of us were meant to be doing what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But usually, up with the birds, yes.
Okay.
Usually quite early.
Well, I was thinking we talked to a new nutritionist. Am I saying that right? Because sometimes
Yes.
I'll say nutritionist.
Nutritionist.
And just we've been on air talking to people about how to stay in a good place. And everything you seem to be doing seems to be the opposite of what they're saying. Like, it's important to take time out from it and prioritise time with family and eat well and sleep lots. And you're not doing any of that?
No. I promise I'm well rested enough to make very significant decisions on behalf of the nation. So I do prioritise getting enough sleep so that I can be clear-headed because that's part of my job. Yeah. And I do try and get home, even if I've got more work to do later that night. I always try and get home in time to put Neve to bed. So that's one of my rules. So yeah, she'll just grow up thinking I'm the nasty person who makes her go to sleep every night.
So how are we tracking? Are we definitely Auckland? Are they definitely going to level 2 on midnight Sunday, waking up Monday, or is there any chance that could change?
Oh, look, there's nothing I'm seeing at the moment that suggests we won't be doing that. What we keep looking for is not just the number. So don't be too put off if you see numbers of cases that feel high to you. It's actually not just about the number. It's more about where those cases are coming from because this cluster is our biggest that we've had. It means that it will have a real knock-on. So we'll be finding people telling them to go into isolation. We'll be testing them, and then sometimes they'll come back positive, and then sometimes that'll pass through to their family members. So they're cases we know about, but it just means that it can grow. And this one's going to have a long tail just because of the size of it.
Yeah, I was blown away this week when they said this is now officially, New Zealand's largest cluster because
it is.
But then we had multiple clusters in the first round, right? We had multiple clusters, so that's why the numbers every day were a little bit bigger.
We did. And we had a large number of cases that weren't part of clusters. We had cases that were coming in from overseas. We'd then have sometimes transmission within families from those cases. So we had lots of little things and some big things going on as well. And so that's why we had, that was why it was quite a dangerous period for us. It's why we went into level 4 because there was just a lot of risk all happening at once.
Right.
So news this morning as well that as a nation there does appear to be, people are over it and they're a lot more anxious. What would you say to people listening now? I mean, we're all in the same boat, aren't we?
Absolutely, and that will feel completely obvious to everyone going through it. I wonder a little bit whether or not it's a double whammy. It's restrictions again, but it's also just that acknowledgement that COVID's still there. And you read the news and you see, gosh, and I every morning I start my day reading BBC and looking at what's happening around the world. And, France has had 5,000 cases a day. Wow. They're seeing surges again across Europe, across Spain. Italy's seeing big numbers again. We've got some places where kids haven't been to school for 5 months. Wow. And so I think it's easy for us to feel a little bit like this is just happening to us, but actually it's happening everywhere, and being reminded that it's still there is really hard.
That's one thing I've kind of been blown away by Kiwis who are still overseas. Like a mate of ours he's been based in the UK, but just been for a trip to Greece. And like lapping it up on a beach and seeing people going back to holidaying, but then seeing the numbers rocketing up. It's a really...
Yes. Yeah. And I think probably when we see that, we think that they don't have restrictions. There are still restrictions. The UK is one of the places where kids just haven't been in school, and they're having a big debate at the moment about how they can safely get schools going again. So there is lots of disruption around the world, but lots of those places have disruption plus COVID, and lots of it. And I think it's easy to forget just how damaging that is and the number of lives that have been lost because of it. Yeah. So I think that's why people feel that way, because we're being reminded that it's still here and it's really disruptive. But I believe that we can get ourselves back into a place where we can manage COVID without it having the level of disruption it's having for Auckland, particularly at the moment.
Plus, we had a taste of freedom. We had a sniff of it.
Sweet level one.
And we'll get it, and we will get that back. And actually, outside of Auckland, by and large, it's tough for hospitality. But outside of Auckland, the rest of New Zealand has existed in level 2 and felt very, very bad for everyone in Auckland through that time.
Right, we'll finish up with a question from Executive Intern Anya. She's the one that always answers the phone, Prime Minister. She's got a burning question that she's wanted to ask you.
Good morning, Prime Minister.
Good morning.
So this is a two-part question.
You've adopted a tone.
because she's about to delve into what topic she holds very close to her heart.
Yes, this is hard-hitting journalism, Prime Minister.
Okay.
When you get to a Friday night and you just can't be bothered, first question is, what is your takeaway of choice? And secondly, how do you go about that? Do you get it delivered? Does Clark drive the car? Do you nip out and get the fish and chips? How does could you paint a picture
no one leaves
for
the
us?
house.
Okay.
No.
Fair enough.
I get someone delivering food.
Okay,
So usually, and usually it's a bit of a debate as to whether or not I go and get it at the gate and freak them out, or whether so line call there. And it's such a creature of habit. It's either burgers or it's karaage chicken. Some kind of
Karaage chicken.
We're
Great choice.
As a show, we're huge fans of any kind of fried chicken.
Massively. So for me too. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, well, there you go, burgers or karaage chicken.
All right.
Does that please you?
I'm rather satisfied, Prime Minister.
Has she won? So that she's
That is
got
the
your
most
vote.
satisfaction I'm giving to a journalist this week.
Jacinda Ardern, Prime Minister, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Take care, guys.